Am I the asshole for asking my son to consider the needs of his brother when planning the food for his wedding? My eldest son, Robert, age 33, just finished his time in the Canadian Armed Forces and he's moved back to our city now that he's out. Robert also recently got married. Because of the pandemic restrictions in our province at the time and because they didn't want anyone to catch coronavirus, they just went to City Hall and didn't have a ceremony or any guests or anyone there. They shared photos of it to those who wanted. Once things are safe, they'll have the reception with guests and dinner and dancing and everything else. Obviously nothing is set in stone, but they have begun getting ideas about what they want for the reception. Me, age 58, and my wife, age 54, asked Robert to think our younger son John, age 29, and his needs when they choose the food for the reception. John has struggled with his weight. At his heaviest, John weighed almost 204 kilograms, 450 pounds. 5 years ago John had bariatric surgery and he lost weight, but he still weighs about 136 kilograms, 300 pounds. Even after the surgery, which did help, he had a difficult time and he's still trying to lose weight. In terms of the wedding reception, we were thinking of things like a plated meal as opposed to an open buffet like they were thinking of, vegetarian, low-carb and other healthy food instead, more calorie-rich foods and nothing too big for dessert, sugar-free or light food. We presented several concrete options for edible but low-calorie and healthy ideas. We also thought the other guests might appreciate less temptations. Robert was not receptive to our request. He says they will do whatever they want and John can deal with it. I know it's difficult to understand if you've never had issues with your weight, and Robert is in above-average shape due to his time in the Canadian Armed Forces. Robert said he wouldn't even bring this up with his wife. He isn't at all happy with us right now. Even John tried speaking with him and he got nowhere. Was I out of line? I don't believe so, but Robert certainly does. You are the asshole. It's supposed to be a wedding celebration for your oldest son and his wife, not a day to cater to the needs of your youngest. If John can't handle a buffet with rich foods, then he should stay home. You are the asshole. It's Robert's wedding and him and his wife have the right to plan it as they wish. If John has an issue with food, it's his responsibility to manage it. So, you're expecting Robert to cater the entire menu to John's diet? It's one thing to ask that there are healthy options for John. It's another to plan the entire meal around him, especially since it's Robert's wedding reception. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. Your oldest son is not responsible for your adult, younger son's diet. Do you require everyone who eats in front of your son to restrict their food choices? Surely he can survive one event without destroying his diet. If not, then he needs to find a way to deal with it and not everyone else. You are the asshole. Recently, the cardiologist persuaded me that lifestyle changes are extremely important in the near future, and it is still psychologically and emotionally difficult to make the changes, even with that, so I feel your son's pain to a point. However, if one celebratory meal would be that damaging, John needs professional help to address his unresolved food issues. You didn't ask if there would be 1 or 2 dishes that a person on a specific diet could eat. Asking once is reasonable. You suggested redesigning the entire menu. You are the asshole. Jesus Christ. Their wedding, their choice. If your younger son can't control himself, he should not attend FFS. What is wrong with people like you? You are the asshole. You are asking your son to plan a wedding reception around your younger son. Your younger son has a choice. He can skip the reception or he can exercise some self-control. This is similar to asking the host of a party not to serve alcohol, because of the guests as an alcoholic. Wow. You are the asshole. I'm compelled to write you an essay but instead bullets. Why is John's weight and temptation more important than Robert's special day? Do you want your future daughter, or son-in-law to think you hate them? Do you want them to hate you? Personal fucking accountability. You enable John by deeming him incapable of being around high-calorie food. Parents like you are why I had one child. 1. Because of this shit. Edit. Sorry for the formatting. Mobile. Am I the asshole for not comping a man's food because of a mistake he made? I'm Italian-American, like born in Italy, family immigrated here, not, my great-grandpa immigrated to America, so I make being Italian descent my whole personality. Anyways, my family has a couple authentic Italian restaurants. I just recently opened my own location. One of the things we serve is authentic Italian pizzas. A margherita pizza is based off the Italian flag. So red for sauce, white for the mozzarella and green for the basil. Again, the ingredients are listed under the name on our menu. One of my waiters came to me saying the man was complaining about his pizza. I went to go see what was up and he was complaining that he got the wrong pizza. I asked what pizza he ordered and he told me margherita. I told him he did get the right pizza. He said, "No, it was supposed to come with tomatoes." I said, "Oh, so you asked for tomatoes on this?" He said, "Well, yeah, I asked for a margherita pizza." I explained that a margherita pizza doesn't come topped with tomatoes, but said if he wanted a pizza with tomatoes I could have one made. He said that's what he wanted. The waiter later came and told me there was another problem at the same table. I went to see what was up and the man was saying he was charged extra. I had the waiter take off the first pizza he ordered and replace it with a margherita pizza with tomatoes added on. He asked why he was getting charged at all, but especially being charged extra for the tomatoes. I again explained that what he ordered didn't come with tomatoes and tomatoes were an add-on. He finally accepted that what he ordered didn't come with tomato unless added on, but said he should not be charged because we had to remake his pizza. I told him that we remade his pizza based on a misunderstanding he had, and since it wasn't the fault of my staff, I wasn't offering any compensation. He continued to argue with me until he finally paid. But he told he will never come back to a restaurant run by a jackass. Edit. One of his reasoning for wanting a free pizza is that, every other margherita pizza I've had is topped with diced tomatoes. I explained that those weren't authentic margherita pizzas. Another edit. Apparently it wasn't clear, but add-ons being extra are noted on our menu, and I did mention that the first time I talked to him. Not the asshole, and also who the fuck makes margherita pizza with diced tomatoes? Never seen that in my life. Not the asshole. It always makes me laugh when people like this say they're not coming back. As if losing a headache is something to be troubled about. You did right here, that guy just sucks. Not the asshole. The whole point of listing ingredients on a menu is so that your customers can see what they are ordering. If he can't take the time to read it, then that's his own fault. Not the asshole. He wanted a pizza. He got a pizza. He doesn't get a free pizza because you remade the pizza to match his non-stated specifications. His FWP. Not yours. Not the asshole. Love when people try and scam for free food. Not the asshole. He can read, I assume? Not the asshole. Where is he getting margherita pizza with tomatoes? I live in the US, visited Italy, have an Italian-American father. My family occasionally makes homemade pizzas, and I've never seen a margherita pizza with tomatoes on it. Divorce them. Would I be the asshole if I didn't buy a new engagement ring? Sorry for any mistakes, English isn't my first language. For 5 years now I am 26, am with the love of my life, F25. I cannot express how much I love her and how important she is to me. I knew I wanted to marry her shortly after getting together. We're finally financially stable enough, so I decided now is the time. In 2020 my girlfriend lost her grandmother. They were super close and it hit my girlfriend hard, especially because she couldn't have a last goodbye in the hospital. COVID restrictions didn't allow visitors. In early 2021 my girlfriend helped her sister move houses. She was wearing a ring her grandmother gave her before she passed, and lost it while carrying boxes. This had hit her even more, and even now she will still sometimes cry about this because she feels like she lost the last memory of her grandmother. We had looked for the ring, but hadn't found it. On Christmas my girlfriend had cried again because she missed her grandmother and lamented the loss of the ring. This gave me an idea. She spent the weekend of New Year's Eve with a friend, so I contacted her sister and asked if I could search her house once again for the ring. When I mentioned that I want to use the ring to propose, she was super excited. She, her husband and my GFS mother, who loved the idea as well, helped me and eventually we found the ring between some boxes in her garage. Even with 4 people looking it took us hours. I'm planning on proposing on the 14th, which is the anniversary of our first date, and we always go out to do something nice then. I had mentioned it to my friends who were excited for me, but when they asked about what ring I got and I told them the story, they called me a cheapskate for not buying my girlfriend a new ring. They also said that it's not an engagement ring. I mean, it really doesn't look like an engagement ring, because it isn't. It's a normal silver ring with an amethyst stone. My girlfriend struggled with anxiety and her grandmother got her one because apparently those stones help against anxiety. And yes, my girlfriend believes in healing powers of stones and often wears jewelry made out of them. They also said it's an asshole move to use the ring someone else paid for as an engagement ring. One friend also brought up that by connecting the ring to our engagement, I might taint its original meaning. Now I don't feel so confident about this anymore. I thought that since the ring has a lot of meaning to her, it might be a good engagement ring. My girlfriend isn't big about clunky and expensive jewelry and even, jokingly, said she would even be okay with a candy ring because it's the symbolism that counts and not the ring itself. But now I'm scared I really might come off as a cheapskate and she might not want this ring as an engagement ring, but just normal jewelry. WIBTA? Edit. This got a bigger reaction than I thought. Thanks for every comment, most of them were nice. Also most people agreed that I should offer to go ring shopping afterwards, so she can have another ring if she wants to. I think this is the course I will take. Thanks for the advice. A lot of people also pointed out that she might be upset that I kept the ring from her, at the point of engagement for 2 weeks. TBH, my girlfriend is a huge fan of surprises, so I must admit I hadn't thought about it that way and I see my fault there. Also some have asked to update this. If the mods let me, I might post an update after the 14th. EDIT2. This has gotten way bigger now and I just wanna add that even if you think I'm the asshole in this situation, please don't start insulting others. I saw a few comments calling others abusive or crazy because they said they like the idea, and I also received PM saying that they hope my girlfriend breaks up with me and sues me. I was surprised to see that the verdict was not the asshole actually, because every other comment I see is an insult against me. My girlfriend, please stop insulting her, seriously. And stop blaming her for not finding the ring herself. She really tried looking for it. Or random Redditors. Propose with the ring as planned and then after she accepts tell her that the two of you can pick out an engagement ring together. That way she gets to decide. What is really important is what your girlfriend would like. Finding the ring was such a wonderful, thoughtful thing to do. It shows that you really do care about her feelings. My best suggestion is to propose, then ask her if she wants to use her heirloom ring as an engagement ring, or would she prefer to pick one out toga her. Tell her you found the ring. Propose and that you want to choose one with her. I know you think the sentiment is nice. But IDK, that ring already had a lot of memories attached to it. I don't agree with your friends, it's nothing to do with it being cheap, but like if she hadn't lost it you would have had to get her a new engagement ring anyway? You don't get to re-gift someone else's gift? I think nah, I'd love to hear how other people weigh in on this. Not the asshole. But this is a bit dangerous. It might come off as a sweet move or it might backfire. Be prepared to answer questions like, when did you find it? Why didn't you tell me? Worst case, it comes down to her feeling that the ring symbolizes her memory of her grandmother and she might not appreciate you appropriating it to symbolize your proposal. So you're right not to feel confident. The safe bet is that you return the ring to her ASAP and get full credit. You've already got a sure thing finding a precious item she thought she had lost. Why mess it up? Soft, you are the asshole. It's wonderful that you went through all that trouble to find the ring and your girlfriend will be thrilled to have it back. However, the ring already belonged to her and she simply lost it. I think you should get a new ring for the engagement. It doesn't have to be fancy or expensive. This one is so difficult because the only opinion that actually matters is your girlfriend's. Personally, I hate it. My engagement ring symbolizes the relationship between my husband and I. This ring will always symbolize her relationship with her grandmother over her relationship with you. I would also be upset that you found and basically re-hid it rather than giving it to her straight away. That just feels cruel when you know how much not having it is hurting her. So for me, yes, you are the asshole if you do this. But if her reaction would be different, then it really doesn't matter what mine or anyone answering here thinks. Not the asshole. I think it's a beautiful gesture. But if you're genuinely unsure, propose with this ring and then when you're proposing, tell her that if she would rather a new ring of her own, you would be happy to buy her one. This covers all of your bases and doesn't make her feel like she is being forced to use her grandmother's ring as her engagement ring if she's uncomfortable with that. Am I the asshole? I refuse to cook meat for my sick wife. My wife has been sick with seasonal flu for the past 1 week. I work from home, so it's been easy for me to take care of her alongside my office work. Today, she asked me if I could make her some crab soup because that always helps her feel better when she's down with flu, cold. I'm Hindu, so I am vegetarian. I told her that I do not want to touch meat since it's against my religion, but I'll order in some crab soup from a nearby restaurant. She refused, saying that homemade soup is better in taste and insisted on having crab soup made by me. I stood my ground and said that I'd do anything else except for touching or cooking meat. She got mad at me and asked me to leave her alone. She also called me selfish for not making such a small sacrifice for her sake. Am I the asshole? Edit. I also offered to cook her something else that was vegetarian, but she said she was craving crab meat only. She's the one being selfish. I mean selfish. You offered her a compromise that would suit both of you. She refused and had a temper tantrum. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, and this doesn't even make sense. How could your homemade crab soup taste better than a restaurant's when you are vegetarian and never touch or cook meat? Add to that the fact that even pre-picked crab meat needs to be handled to make sure all the shells are out, which you also wouldn't be doing. Not the asshole, you offered a reasonable alternative. I somehow doubt that homemade soup by someone who has never made it, and doesn't like the ingredients, is going to be better than restaurant options. Not the asshole. Ordering soup was a perfectly good solution. Your wife was being unreasonable. You offered to get it from a restaurant and she still said no? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Also, I don't understand why she thinks homemade crab soup is better when you have no experience in cooking it. I wouldn't ask a vegetarian to handle meat because I wouldn't expect them to know how to cook it. Not the asshole. You should never sacrifice your morals or values to make anyone else happy, including your wife. That she would insist shows a gross lack of respect for who you fundamentally are. She is the asshole in this situation. Not the asshole. She is testing your boundaries. She knows that what she asked is unreasonable. Watch out for other boundary testing.